Number 10, Jupiter Moon, 1990. Sort of the equivalent to Degrassi Junior High orbiting Jupiter's moon Callisto in the year 2050, Jupiter Moon tells the trials and tribulations and drama of the students, instructors, and crew of the LEA, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, housing Columbus College. Prospective space explorers receive an education in space travel, dangerous anomalies like viruses, rogue comets, plasma clouds, technical malfunctions, and the most dangerous of all, falling in love. In space, a broken heart is more life-threatening than sudden decompression. The students have ample opportunity for hands-on study of the variety of phenomena surrounding them. Throughout the 108 episodes that were broadcast, a secondary plot about the Daedalus mission was worked in, a mission to explore distant stars. Even though the hormones were constantly raging, the series would fizzle out. That's because the British satellite broadcast service flickered out and burned up in the atmosphere like young muskrat love. Number 9, SuperForce, 1990.
Oh my God!
Words can't express my feelings about SuperForce. Every single aspect of production, script, performance, and even the sound design are horrible. Seriously, what is going on in this garbled sequence?
You missed the most. Well, let me put it this way. Can't wait to get back to see my father and my brother Frank.
For what it's worth, the story revolves around Zachary Stone, famous astronaut who pilots the damaged golden capsule on the return journey from Mars. Later, he learns that his father has died and his brother, a cop, is missing, presumed dead, and maligned as a corrupt officer. Because Zach is an overachiever, he breezes through police training to become a cop and solve the mystery behind his brother's disappearance. But the dorkiness really lifts off when he meets FX Spinner, a research scientist at Hungerford Industries, who developed a prototype spacesuit, later proposed for urban warfare as a RoboCop-style power suit in Metroplex's crime zone, where you don't need a license to operate a flamethrower, and inexplicably smash public transit, or impersonating the Rhino from Spider-Man. Nothing about this show works. Annoying visual style, the light design looks like 1980s porn, the performances are agonizing.
All for one and one for all, kid. You and me. Huh? The two musketeers.
Ugh. Zach's super cop fight scenes wouldn't exist if the criminals didn't rush at him. And with this rap sheet of infractions, it's baffling how it ran for 2 seasons. Number 8, ReBoot, 1994. If you pine for the wanderlust of the early internet world, when the innards of the web was a mysterious and fascinating notion, then this Canadian CGI animated series ought to reboot this yearning. Ahead of its time, ReBoot downloaded viewers into the mainframe and introduced us to the constant threats on the partition communities and the inhabitants. Bob, Dot, and Enzo Matrix, who are charged with protecting the mainframe from hexadecimal, gigabyte, and megabyte. Each episode highlights the protagonist's whimsical battles against these villains, and the consequences of losing games against the user. Failure to win will nullify an entire sector, and this means death and destruction for the binary inhabitants like a digital nuke. Victims are transformed into nulls, leech-like creatures. So game cubes, yeah, they're a visceral threat. Despite the brightly colored characters, the content seems slightly dark for younger viewers. I watched ReBoot when it aired on YTV in Canada, and the 20-minute episodes were fun and fresh, since, apart from obvious comparisons to Tron, the TV treatment and look proved well enough for young and stoner audiences. Yeah. Number 7, 7 Days, 1998. Imagine if you were able to step back in time. If so, would 1 week be worth it? The NSA definitely thinks so. Alien technology that can achieve time travel was discovered along with the UFO wreckage at Roswell, and the government are rubbing their greasy little hands all over inside a secret facility called Never Never Land. The chronosphere is a useful but tricky ride, and as the title suggests, chrononauts can only step back 7 days. Frank Parker, an ex-Navy SEAL and CIA agent, is released from a military mental institution and recruited to the NSA's ultra-top secret program. 7 Days is a mix of action, drama, science fiction, comedy, and some sexual tension between Parker and Dr. Olga Vukovich. And it was their chemistry that audiences were attracted to. Spanning 3 seasons, topics like altering time to save the president and VP from a catastrophic terrorist attack, prevented 12 Monkeys' level Ebola pandemic, and eventually touching on the aliens who crashed in the 1950s. In short, it's a pretty good blend of solid character development, well-written episodes, natural comedic beat, and time travel, science fiction. The act of backstepping is excruciatingly painful and run the risk of being ripped apart if the pilot deviates their grip with the joystick. All fun stuff. 7 Days gets a firm thumbs up. Number 6, The Outer Limits, 1995. Imitation is the scariest form of flattery. The 1990s revival of the classic 1963 sci-fi horror anthology of mostly independent episodes continued that tradition. The revised series still concentrated on many of the same tropes, but dug deeper into the dirt, exhuming more disturbing material. In essence, the episodes relate to humanity's flaws that produced excellent drama and tension. One of the show's major strengths was the cavalcade of top-notch science fiction actors like Michael Dorn or Brent Spinner, Josh Brolin, Robert Patrick, and young upstarts like Ryan Reynolds. And hey, isn't that Catherine O'Hara? And the writing credits are equally hefty with the likes of Stephen King, Harlan Ellison, George R.R. Martin, and Larry Niven, but are just but a fraction of the talent jammed into the 7 seasons here. Hey, it's fair to say that most of the episodes were and are still a good time. For me, the episode Dead Man's Switch had a lasting effect as a deeply disturbing take on an alien invasion. Granted, the aliens look pretty dumb, but this insidious episode still gives me the willies. Number 5, Roughnecks, the Starship Troopers Chronicles, 1999. When I saw this animated gem in the early 2000s, I uttered, "Oh, hello." Then the brain bug took control. This animated version draws some from the movies, but also includes elements from the novel of the same name, by the inclusion of an alien race, later allies dubbed the Skinnies, and the Roughnecks' armored power suit. And of course, they're still embroiled in waging war with the Arachnids. So many bugs squashed. Episode 1 picks up with Razak's Roughnecks mopping up after Operation Pest Control on Mars. The bugs are relentless and never disappoint. Later, Psychon detects a large transport bug en route to Hydora in the Virgo constellation. Then it's mission after mission, campaign after campaign. I really appreciate how the show is divided into campaigns, which adds ample time to ride the arc of each before being airdropped into the next. I really dig the characters. Clearly, this isn't as gory as the movies, but that isn't required in this series, so it's suitable for most ages. On the whole, I like the CGI, although the faces can be a little off-putting, and the soundtrack isn't too bad either.
When I'm with you, baby, I go out of my head. I just can't get enough.
Number 4, Dark Skies, 1996. Do aliens live among us? What if they've already infiltrated human society in the 1940s with nefarious ends? Well, that's the premise of Dark Skies. And with their usual suspect lineup of culprits, Roswell, aliens, conspiracy, and facehuggers. The Hive, as they're uncommonly known in the series, plan to control the human race by frigging with historical events and personalities. It's revealed that the Hive parasites were inside the Greys that crashed at Roswell, so even they were compromised. Sounds like a job for Sapphire and Steel. However, the one and only Art Bell makes a cameo appearance, and the Borg Queen of our dreams, Jeri Ryan, appears in 8 episodes. Incidentally, I shared a movie scene with her, and she was a really nice lady. John Lowengart's story arc is pretty good, starting as a congressional aide who's coerced into clocking some hours on Project Blue Book, thus revealing the Hive and their horrifying intentions. The season only ran for 1 season, but Brent V. Friedman and Bryce Zabel had intended a grandiose trajectory for the series, but that was aborted. Number 3, Codename Eternity, 1999. Earth sure is a juicy target for malevolent aliens bent on our destruction, but once in a while a good one falls from space. I mean, just look at this intro, it's pretty heroic. Oh my god, and look, another undocumented Baldwin. How many more of them are there? Nathaniel searches for his lost brother, Thorber, a brilliant alien scientist who invented the human bodies the aliens wear, including Banning's. Thorber was once in the employ of Banning, but booked once he discovered his evil plan. That sucks for him because Banning's secret sauce resides inside his skull. For me, this unknown Canadian series crams a decent quotient of tension and drama into the episodes. The cast does a good job of portraying convincing roles. Cameron Bancroft is captivating as Nathaniel, and he kinda looks like an alien. A personal favorite is Gordon Curry as the mechanistic Dent, whose presence reminds me of Agent Smith from The Matrix.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague.
I'd say Codename Eternity more than holds up its own end in the 1990s science fiction coliseum. And finally, a sci-fi series that includes a remote viewer.
You're just like all the rest. Find my dog, find my bracelet, find my lowlife husband.
Gordon, you're a remote viewer.
Number 2, Space Precinct, 1994. Jerry Anderson struck again with a live-action space police procedural set in Demeter City on the planet Altor. Detective Patrick Brogan accepts a new post in Demeter City, along with his wife and 2 kids, and takes up their life in the crime-ridden alien city. Now that's saying something, because Brogan's last beat was in New York City. Brogan's partner, Officer Jack Halden, rounds out the leads, but they're backed up by an equally rounded-out cast, like Officer Jane Castle, a host of eyes too far apart aliens that share a resemblance to Michael Pitt as the cops and the criminals. In this universe, humans and aliens conspire to commit dastardly crimes. Therefore, a fair amount of action was had. Wow! And Idris Elba even appears in episode 4. Space Precinct aired only for 1 season. Late-night scheduling in the US resulted in its cancellation despite pretty good writing. The characters are likable, the ship designs and environment models are a little dated, but that's not a deal breaker. The most eye-catching aspect is the aliens' facial puppetry. Anderson originally floated a similar pilot movie entitled Space Police, later switched to Star Laws that would become the blueprint for Space Precinct. Some sources online refer to it as Space Precinct 2040, as it appears in the opening credits. Is 2040 supposed to be the year, or Brogan's badge number? Let me know in the comments. Number 1, The Invisible Man, 2000. Oh, come on, it was shot in 1999, so close enough. Seeing is believing, and I believe that I've never seen this vision of the Invisible Man before. And who believes that crime doesn't pay? Especially when the payoff is a thief's ultimate ace card, invisibility. However, rotting within a life prison sentence is flipped when his has-his-shit-together scientist brother Kevin arrives in solitary confinement to deliver his ultimatum. Hey bro, sign up for this experimental top-secret program or languish in jail. Darian reluctantly accepts. High-stakes cloak and dagger thrills and spills await Darian via the light-bending synthetic gland implanted in his brain.
Kevin? Hello?
All a surprise to Darian once the realization that not only is he capable of invisibility, but that something has gone horribly wrong with the implant. Kevin's esteemed colleague Arnold Defoe sabotages the gland so that Darian will suffer irreversible insanity if he doesn't receive the antidote on a regular basis. And what's even worse, that Arnaud orchestrates a terrorist attack to steal the Quicksilver gland.
You know, it seems some joker put plastic explosives in your walkie-talkies.
For Darian, he's in for a penny, out for a pounding headache. Enter the agency. And another ultimatum. Work with this government agency so secret and underfunded that it doesn't have an official name. Humorously, the agency was partially absorbed by the Department of Fish and Game, among other departments unrelated to national defense. Once Darian is coerced by the agency and seeking revenge for his brother's murder,
Aw, crap.
he's thrust into a variety of clandestine missions.
Canadian terrorists.
For a show completely unknown to me, I was pleasantly surprised by the mixture of action, deceit, and comedy. Sure, the Invisible Man disappeared after 2 seasons, but it was an exhilarating ride while it lasted. I strongly recommend this trick of the light, but keep your eyes peeled for...
Ah, crap.
Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.